When detectives asked Justin Haynes why he fired an AK-47 toward a closed bedroom door, he leaned on the safest shield he could find.
My intention was not to shoot her. My intention was to deal with the threat.
Calm, certain, almost rehearsed. But the detective didn't argue. He didn't shout. He simply asked,
"Well, you're shooting through a closed door the dog can't get through, first of all. I think you shot in anger, all right? I don't believe that's what happened. That you were simply defending yourself.
You don't believe that?
No, I don't. I'd be lying to you if I said I did. I don't."
That one line punctured Justin's entire version of events. But the pertinent questions are who this evil man is and what happened on that particular day. It was a humid summer night in Tallahassee, Florida, in 2019 when tensions inside Justin Haynes' home began to boil over. The evening had started quietly, but inside the house, an argument erupted between Justin and his on-again, off-again girlfriend, Jasmine Perkins. She retreated into Justin's bedroom with her pit bull, slamming the door as the dog barked in sync with her panic. Justin, already irritated from days of conflict, claimed the dog had bitten him. Instead of leaving, calling police, or securing his son's safety in another room, he stormed across the house, grabbed an AK-47, and returned to the closed bedroom door. With his son nearby and the house otherwise calm, Justin fired 2 rounds through the plywood door. Jasmine was hit twice. The dog wasn't hit at all. The gunshots shattered the quiet night.
Where are you? Fuck, man. Face the car. Face the car. Jasmine, face the car. I'm facing it. Jasmine, stay right there. You haven't been searched. You're making me nervous. Spread your legs, please. Thank you, sir. I don't want to have an issue, okay? We don't know each other. So you need to chill out and let me do my job, okay? We aren't worried about the We're going to deal with that, all right? We will. Dealing with the dog. We will. We're not going to let the dog get anybody, okay? We already. All right.
Do we have any kind of ID on him?
No, we haven't gotten that far. I need him searched. He's covered in blood.
Got anything on you?
No.
No?
I'm just trying to protect my son.
Okay.
Jesus Christ, man.
So the cops arrested Justin and brought him in for the interrogation.
In the process, when it is that I tried to go back in there and ask her to take the dog up out of here, because the bedroom that I share is adjacent to the bedroom that my son shares. It's right across. There's a bathroom here, my bedroom, and his bedroom. So when it is that I opened the door, the dog was sitting right behind the door again, right behind my bedroom doors.
Okay.
So when it is that I open up the door, the dog is right there. Shut the door. I ask her, Jasmine, take the dog up out of the house. I'm telling you, I'm serious. The dog has already bit me. Shoot. Through the door, in my intention is at the dog. Right?
Okay.
Because at this point, I don't want my son to walk out of the room who was just behind me, not even 2 or 3 feet from behind me, in defense. So I shoot right through the corner or the lock of the door, right? Okay. At where it is that I perceive the dog to still be. Upon doing that, she starts yelling and blah, 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 blah. You shot me. And I didn't see the dog after that since, I was apprehended and everything. But my intention was to go ahead and deal with the threat at the time because I was in fear for my life and obviously for my son's life.
Was the dog trying to get through the door?
Yes, the dog.
So there'll be scratch marks on the door.
I don't know how you would say the dog is trying to get through the door, but he can jump. And he scratches at the door. Even when you let him out to go and urinate out on the back porch, you can hear him scratching at the door and jumping to do so. Okay. So while I was outside of the door, the dog is whining, doing the kind of whimpering sound, and scratching at the door as well as jumping at it. So when I come back to the door, it's the process of him doing all of that, and I basically just reacted.
The detective often asks Justin to describe sensory experience. how the dog behaved, what he heard behind the door, the dog's exact movements. Reality monitoring theory states that true memories contain vivid sensory and emotional detail, while fabricated events rely on generalized logic. Justin's sensory descriptions remain vague and mechanical, while his justifications, "I was scared, the dog mirrors emotion," are overexplained. This mismatch alerts the detective that Justin's emotional narrative is constructed, not lived. Each sensory probe destabilizes Justin's story without the detective ever accusing him directly.
Just for the scenario, just so I get this correct, she comes over at your request to come retrieve the dog.
Yes, sir.
Okay. There's an argument that happens over this. She's upset because she's been trespassed from the house. Now needs to find a place for this dog. She's upset by that, and you guys argue.
Well, truth be told, and I did not know this until she told me about this, but I actually thought she was in Atlanta. I thought she had moved from Tallahassee.
Okay.
But apparently she has an apartment somewhere here in town, in Leon County. So with all of that being now known, she has a place for the dog. The dog doesn't necessarily have to stay at my house, but because she's doing this Airbnb thing, she feels the need to allow the dog to stay at the house because we have some type of communal relationship.
How long has this dog been at your house?
4 or 5 days now. 5, 6 days now.
5 or 6 days?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How long has she had the dog?
From puppy, since he was a puppy.
6 years?
At least, yeah, I would imagine.
Okay. And this is the only time the dog has stayed at your house?
Yes, sir. He hasn't been at
the last 4 or 5 days?
Yes, sir.
She's not going to tell me any different?
No, he hasn't been at the house otherwise, because I can't even have my own dog, which is also a pit bull, and it's due to the fact that the insurance wouldn't allow it. She wouldn't allow it, and she actually has my pit bull, my mom, that is, and I was not able to bring the dog to the house, so I tried to convey that to her that, this has gone far enough. You need to take the dog from here.
Okay.
Especially after the incident Sunday, where I was on the porch and she witnessed the dog there as well as myself, and she made
Okay. Has the dog bitten you before?
No, he's hurt my son before though.
How did he hurt your son?
Due to the dog doesn't have any restraints as far as jumping and scratching. So
like an excitement thing or trying to injure your son type thing?
Well, you couldn't tell the difference in my opinion.
The detective allows Justin to talk for long, uninterrupted stretches, encouraging him to explain everything, even when the story becomes repetitive. This is deliberate. According to cognitive load theory, lying requires significantly more mental effort than telling the truth. By letting Justin construct a lengthy narrative, the detective increases the amount of information he must keep consistent. As cognitive load rises, Justin's contradictions grow, such as saying the dog had never been at the house before, then minutes later explaining that he'd often had to move the dog during past arguments. The stress of sustaining the lie begins tearing it apart.
Has the dog bitten you before?
No, he's hurt my son before though.
How did he hurt your son?
Due to the dog doesn't have any restraints as far as jumping and scratching. So
like an excitement thing or trying to injure your son type thing?
Well, you couldn't tell the difference in my opinion, but these scratches are due to the dog in particular.
Okay. So he's got long nails and he likes to jump up on people?
He does.
Okay.
Absolutely. And it hasn't been a situation where she's restrained the dog from jumping on people.
Okay.
My son is only 3 years old. The dog, if he jumped on Malcolm, would be taller than my son.
Right.
Obviously would knock him down.
Right.
And that happened this evening. So as a result of that and then being bit.
Well, I mean, that's not necessarily an aggressive thing. That's more of a nuisance thing, though, right?
No, I've made it very clear to her that I don't appreciate.
Well, as far as the dog's demeanor in that case, it's more of a nuisance than an aggression.
I can't speak to the dog's cognitive, functions.
Well, I know that. No one can talk to them. But as far as, the dog viciously attacking your son, that's never happened.
viciously attacking. No, I wouldn't say viciously, but the dog has a tendency to play very rough.
Okay.
Even if
Playful.
it is with a child.
Okay. So the dog plays rough, likes to jump up on people, and in this case, today, bit you.
Yes, sir.
Because you were arguing with its owner, right?
Correct.
Okay. And what part of the house did this happen where you were bit?
In the bedroom.
In the bedroom.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So you and her were in the bedroom.
Your bedroom?
Your bedroom?
She was in the bedroom.
She was in the bedroom. Uh-huh.
I was trying to enter my bedroom. This
Right.
is what you would
Right.
I guess consider.
This is your house. Every room is yours. I get it.
Excuse me.
So the master bedroom?
Yes,
Okay.
I tried to enter the master bedroom, and the dog was literally sitting behind the door.
The detective compares Justin's descriptions of the dog's behavior to typical, well-documented canine reactions, especially in protective breeds. Ecological validity theory suggests that behavior inconsistent with known real-world patterns signals fabrication. When Justin claims the dog mirrored emotions and was simultaneously aggressive yet allowed around his son for days, the detective sees a mismatch. By merely asking clarifying questions rather than challenging him, the detective lets Justin's claims violate known real-world behavioral patterns, making deception increasingly obvious.
As a result, the dog, I would imagine, can sense my hostility, and as a result, gave hostility back.
Okay.
So when I came into the door, she realized that because I personally believe she knows the temperament of her dog. She knows what is going to set him off. So I went into the room, and as soon as I did, she tried to restrain the dog.
Okay.
Right? So when I went in there, I went directly into my closet, and I had to walk past them because the bed, if this is the bed and this is the closet that I had to access, I would have had to walk from the door right past the bed to the closet here.
Okay.
As a result, when I walked past the closet, they were sitting in this area.
Okay.
Right? And when I scooted past, I didn't get bit at that time, but when I walked back, like out the door, the dog bit me at that time.
Okay.
And from that point on...
Did you have anything in your hands at that point?
I didn't have anything.
Okay. Were you still arguing with her?
Asking her why it is that, she's doing this. At this point, I've been very hospitable to the dog.
What was your demeanor during that?
I was upset. I was visually upset.
And her?
She was upset as well.
Okay.
And I believe that the dog could understand the upset feelings that were in the air. But once I passed there to enter the closet, wasn't a problem. She was able to restrain the dog, but somehow or other, once it is that I retrieved what it is that I needed from the closet, the dog went and bit me on the leg.
Justin repeatedly distributes blame. The dog, Jasmine, his mother, Airbnb, insurance, even his son. The detective encourages this diffusion by asking gentle why and how questions, prompting Justin to justify his actions. Under self-justification theory, once a person commits to explaining harmful behavior in a self-serving way, they often reveal deeper truths while trying to maintain moral innocence. Justin's justifications, like using a butter knife for protection, accidentally expose the irrationality of his actions. The detective leverages Justin's need to sound reasonable to reveal the underlying unreasonable behavior.
So when you decide to go into the room, and as you're leaving, the dog bites you, and you're going back into the living room now because you just got bit by the dog, right?
Yes, sir.
Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
Where's your son?
He's in the room just adjacent to my bedroom.
Okay. So there's your bedroom, you said another room, and then your son's room, or bathroom, and then your son's room.
If this is my son's room,
You want to draw it?
if that makes it if this is my son's bedroom, there is a small hallway here that leads to a bathroom.
Okay.
And my bedroom here.
Okay, where are the doors to the bedrooms?
Okay, so the doors would be right here.
Okay. All right.
And then this leads into the rest of the house.
Okay, so the bathroom's over here, and Is dual access to the bathroom, I would imagine, or just yours?
Well, truth be told, the room is probably a little bigger than that.
Okay.
And it looks,
Okay. All right. Is this door open or closed?
this door is closed at the time.
Okay, as you're leaving, so your son's door is closed. And did she close the door behind you when she left and kept the dog in the room?
No, I closed the door.
Okay, you closed the door.
I don't know what happened in the room as far as she goes. Maybe she jumped out back in the bed, or maybe she stayed with the dog. But I closed the door.
Okay.
To my bedroom.
Okay. Was that to prevent the dog from following you
Absolutely.
out? Okay.
Throughout the interrogation, the detective repeatedly circles back to small details. Door positions, walking paths, the exact location of the dog. He asks, where was your son's door? And did the door open in or out? These aren't random questions. By securing specific anchors, the detective forces Justin to commit to details that must remain consistent. Under consistency theory, humans feel pressured to maintain internal coherence, even within lies. The detective uses this pressure to expose contradictions. Every time Justin's details shift, the detective silently gathers evidence that his narrative is constructed rather than remembered.
Okay. So, like I said, at the time you pulled the trigger, the door was shut, the dog was behind the door, and you thought you were shooting at the dog.
That was my intention.
And it wasn't your intention to shoot her?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No, sir.
All right. Go ahead.
I'm having trouble visualizing.
Okay.
You did with the box earlier. If you're going to do a drawing so I can make sure. Where is the bed?
The bed, if the door is here, the bed would be right there.
And the closet?
Right here.
Okay. And then, so does this door open in or out? Like if you're in the hallway, do you push the door in to go
Opens in.
towards your room?
Correct.
And then you push the door in to go talk to her again. And
I'm sorry. No, the door does open out. It swings
so
out.
it comes into the hallway.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. It would swing out like that.
Okay. So the door opens, and when you open the door, where is the dog sitting? Right there. Right here.
In front of the door.
Okay. Okay, now I get it. Thank you.
Okay. Do you know the capabilities of the rifle you chose to use?
I do know the capabilities.
Okay. What kind of ammo did you put in the gun?
It's always loaded with, if I'm not mistaken, 5.56. I believe that's what you 8.47. 5.56 would be. No, I'm sorry.
Should be 7.62 by 30.
Yes, that is what it is.
And an AK-47.
Yes, sir.
What kind of rounds, though? Do you use, like, self-defense rounds, or do you use target rounds?
Target rounds.
Just target rounds. Okay.
When questioning the rifle, ammo, bullet penetration, and door structure, the detective never directly accuses Justin of reckless intent. Instead, he asks technical, factual questions. Procedural knowledge interference theory suggests that when a suspect is forced to think analytically about the mechanics of their actions, their emotional justifications lose dominance. The detective pulls Justin's mind out of emotional defense mode and forces him into rational explanation. As soon as Justin admits he knew the rifle could penetrate doors and walls, the detective secures evidence that contradicts his claim of, I didn't mean to shoot her.
When it comes to a rifle, I mean, are you aware that it can pass through multiple
I'm aware of that.
multiple doors in one shot, multiple walls, that kind of thing? I mean, were you concerned with that at all when you shot at this dog?
I was more or less concerned with the threat. At that point, I was in fear of my life. If that dog had gotten out of the room, at that point, I didn't know what he was capable of.
I get it. I mean, very heated situation. I mean, you've got a crazy woman in your house who's protecting a dog that has just bit you. And, your son's there. It's a very, very volatile situation. So I get it. You're not exactly thinking, okay, well, what if this thing goes through the house, hits a neighbor's house, that kind of thing. That should be a concern of yours. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I don't think you were necessarily thinking that at the time.
I have heard it before. I've
Okay.
got a cousin who mentioned that very specifically.
I just from what I know and how you guys were found, she was not clothed.
Clothed?
She did not have clothing on. I think she had underwear on, and that was it.
Yes,
Bottom underwear.
And that's about.
And you only had boxer shorts on and a shirt when officers arrived.
Correct. That's about normal for how we would generally be with each other. And I'm not sure if her intention was to stay the night, but I did not have the intention of her staying the night. I was in my boxer shorts generally.
Instead of confronting him aggressively, the detective uses empathy. I get it. You were scared. Volatile situation. You weren't thinking about neighbors at that moment. This technique lowers Justin's defenses and encourages him to keep talking. According to motivational interviewing, validating a suspect's feelings, even if their actions are in question, creates a psychological safe zone in which they reveal more. Justin becomes increasingly talkative and emotional, volunteering incriminating details like using an AK-47 when other safer options were available. The detective uses softness to open the door to harsher admissions.
Okay. The other thing too is, did you attempt to get in the door at any time with a butter knife?
I did try to get in the door with a butter knife. Yes, sir.
At what point?
Once she was in a situation where the dog was attempting to try, in my opinion, attempting to try to attack me, I used the butter knife to try to enter my bedroom to get back into the room, and I used the butter knife for protection. That was my instant reaction. Once it is that I could not get back into my bedroom, I went and got the rifle.
Why did you need the butter knife to get in the room?
It's my room. I felt like I had justification for going into my bedroom.
Did she lock you out of your room, or what was did you use it as a tool to get in the door?
I did not use it as a tool to get in the door, but that's all that I had at my disposal at the time. It was a butter knife, and I believe...
Just a second ago, you said you tried to pry the door open with it. Is that not the case now?
I didn't say that. Did I say I pried the door open?
I can't remember.
I didn't say I pried the door open. I had the butter knife in my possession. At that time, I also had a screwdriver.
Okay.
In my possession because I didn't have any other.
How big is a screwdriver?
It's a little flathead.
Okay, like when you would stick through the hole to unlock the door. You know what I'm talking, to pop the door open. Like
no, but there are keys to the house,
right.
Like multiple keys to the house that I could have just opened the door if I wanted to get in there. I didn't have to pry it open.
I'm not saying pry it. I mean the little screwdriver, the one you kind of stick through that hole in the doorknob to pop the door lock.
It wouldn't fit. Okay. There are screw keys that actually fit in that small hole.
Did you try to use one of those?
I did try to use one of those, but it would not open.
So you were trying to get in the door, just not with the butter knife?
Yes, sir. I was trying to access the room. The butter knife was the only other option that it is that I had to, in my opinion, to try to defend myself outside of using a firearm.
Okay.
Throughout the conversation, the detective uses quiet pauses instead of interruptions. These are intentional. Under SUS theory, silence creates psychological discomfort, prompting suspects to keep speaking to fill the void, often revealing details they never intended to disclose. Every time Justin pauses, the detective waits. Justin then reopens his narrative, adding unnecessary justification, like the butter knife and screwdriver story, which further undermines his credibility. Silence becomes a trap that encourages over-explanation.
You know, it's...
Okay, so I don't mean to let everybody into my personal business, but I've tried to make it work with this girl beyond what would be normal reason. She gave me herpes.
Okay.
You don't need to go there.
But
you don't need to go there.
Okay.
Just stick with tonight.
Okay. Okay, let me ask you this. Officers are responding out there. When they arrived at your house, they described it as being very, very quiet. No one was flagging anybody down. Hey, there's someone shot inside my house, anything like that. Is there a reason for that?
Once it is that I was able to see what happened to her, I was trying to carry her to the door and get her to the hospital or some type of medical attention once I seen what had happened.
Is there any reason you didn't call 911 at all?
Believe it or not, the police had gotten there so quick, I didn't even have a chance to find a phone to call 911. But once I had seen what had happened to her, that was my intention, because it wasn't something that you could have put a Band-Aid on or.
Okay. And at no time did you refuse to call 911 on her for her?
No, not at all.
That conversation never happened?
No, if she needed 911 or she wanted me to call them, I would have called them. My intention was not to shoot her. My intention was to deal with the threat.
Okay.
So if she needed medical assistance, I wouldn't have had any problem with calling the cops.
Okay.
Or anybody else who would have came.
And like I said, officers got there. It's quiet. There's no one outside flagging anybody down.
I was surprised at how quickly the officers had gotten there.
The detective repeatedly tells Justin, "I think you shot in anger," while still conceding, "I don't take you for someone who just shoots people." That creates cognitive dissonance. Justin wants to see himself as a good man acting in fear, but the detective reframes his behavior as rage. The mismatch between how Justin wants to be seen and how his actions look pushes him to talk more, trying to repair his image. And in doing so, he keeps reinforcing that he chose to fire through a closed door instead of taking safer options.
The dog's locked in a room. She's not there.
No problem.
Obviously, you're mad at the dog because it bit you. I mean, is that why you shot the dog? Is because you were mad at it?
Absolutely not. The dog acts completely different when she is there versus when she is not there. The dog almost acts like he's some kind of stepchild, if you will, when she's not around versus when she's in the equation. Apparently, he feels that he has leeway.
Okay. Well, I don't want to keep playing games with you. I respect your mother a whole lot. Okay.
Well, officer, I'm not trying to play games with you either, but that is
my true, honest belief is you were mad at this dog and you shot the dog or tried to shoot the dog in anger. You didn't intend to shoot her. I'm not saying you're even capable of wanting to shoot a person unless you felt that they were an imminent threat to you. I'll give you that one. Okay. I don't take you for someone that would just willy-nilly shoot somebody. All right. You're not that type of person. But you've been drinking. Emotions got the better of you tonight. And I wholeheartedly believe you shot at that dog on purpose because you were mad at the dog. Not because it was a threat to you.
I do believe it was a threat. It wasn't my intention to be mad at the dog. He's just a dog. And I take care of the dog when she's not around. Okay. I come home every day to walk the dog, to take him out, to let him use the bathroom. I feed the dog. I provide water for the dog. I don't hate the dog because I own a pit bull just like that particular dog.
Why? I hate the dog. It bit me.
But he only bit me tonight. He's never bit me before. Even if he's had altercations with I wouldn't say altercations, but if he was too playful with my son, that's not reason that I would want to shoot him. I have no hostility towards the dog. The dog is a dog. But once he bit me, at that point I was in fear.
Justin keeps claiming he takes care of the dog, feeds it, walks it, loves pit bulls himself, and then admits he fired an AK-47 through a door in its direction. The detective lets him lay out this "I'm a responsible caretaker" persona and then quietly contrasts it with the reality of the shooting. This taps into self-concept maintenance. People want to believe they're moral, so when their own words show a gap between values and actions, it becomes psychologically cornering. Justin's attempts to patch that gap only deepen the contradictions.
It wasn't my intention to try to harm the dog because I don't like pit bulls, but the dog had already bit me significantly enough to where it is that I felt that this dog was a threat.
I mean, whether I'm in my underwear or not, whether I have my cell phone or not, have access to any kind of communication or not, I am not going to put myself back into a room where a dog just bit me. Barna, there's a locked, closed door between me and a dog. I know it can't get through. I'll walk next door, knock on the door of the neighbor's house and say, "Hey, I need to call the cops. I need to get this crazy whatever out of my house along with her stupid dog because it just bit me." And then we would have come, removed her from your house, probably arrested her for trespassing, because you kept telling her to leave, right?
Absolutely.
And taking the dog as well.
I'm not going to argue with that. You're right. Okay. The better judgment would have been to just call the police and have it dealt with.
I mean, you know, part of something being a threat to you is not putting yourself in harm's way, which is what you did.
But the dog is ultimately in the house. If I had walked away to go and take a piss, right? Excuse me. But to go and use the bathroom, and my son had opened the door. Mm-hmm. Based on the circumstances at the time, it wouldn't have been a situation where I would have just called the police and had them summoned to the house or however long that would take it. My son likes Jasmine, or the young lady who was at the house. He likes her. So if he had opened up the door to try to see what was going on.
Now feelings are getting in the way, okay? When it comes to stuff like that. You're talking about something that's a threat to you and your son. Get him out of the house.
The detective repeatedly highlights moments where Justin's behavior contradicts what a frightened person would do. If the dog was dangerous, why walk toward it? If he feared for his life, why enter the room half naked? If he wanted safety, why not leave the house with his son? Under expectation violation theory, people experience cognitive dissonance when their explanation contradicts normal behavioral expectations. The detective amplifies this dissonance by calmly restating the contradictions. Justin tries to repair the narrative with more explanations, but the more he speaks, the weaker the story becomes.
Simple as that. You go next door, you use the phone, you get him out of the house.
Well, I won't argue with that.
Right.
I definitely probably could have used better judgment.
And you know, your son's behind a closed door, this dog's behind a closed door, you go and get your rifle and start shooting through the door. You know, that's I don't know what else to say about it.
My son is old enough to open up doors. My son is old enough to open up locked doors at this point. At that particular time, when it is that I retreated away from the door, I felt that he was at danger because he likes this young lady. And if he had opened up the door in consequence of trying to see what was going on, I felt it was a liability to him as well as me at that particular time. It wasn't a situation where I was looking at it like, I'm just going to shoot this dog because I'm upset with the particular dog.
Yeah, but, you know, it's not an imminent threat at that point. Your mom knows the meaning of the word imminent.
I'm very aware of what imminent threat means.
I've seen dogs.
Imminent threat is the reason why they are insurance.
That's enough. Like I said,
imminent threat is the reason why insurance is the way that it is about pit bulls and Rottweilers and these things, is because you never can predict the personality traits or any of the nature of these particular animals. Mm-hmm. Once the dog had bit me at that point, the dog needed to be removed from the house in one way or another. If my son had opened up that door and got mauled after he had already been knocked down, in my opinion, that's too far for me to be...
So you wanted to remove the dog with the AK?
Both the detective and investigator Isaac drill into the word imminent. They explain that a hypothetical future risk, if she opens the door, if the dog comes out, is not the same as a present, immediate threat. This is rooted in legal socialization theory, which looks at how people internalize legal norms and language. By correcting Justin's misuse of imminent threat, they force him to confront the gap between his feelings of fear and what the law actually recognizes as justification to shoot.
I honestly didn't even see the dog after after I shot through the door. I didn't even see the dog again. I don't know if he hid. I don't know what happened. All it is that when she was bleeding and hollering for help, I immediately tried to get her to the door and see if we could get medical attention for her, and the police were already there. As soon as I opened up the door, they were there and they apprehended me.
Okay. Well, I mean, she claims there's an argument on whether or not to call the cops, and ultimately she made the decision to call when you wouldn't. Is there any truth to that?
Yeah, there's truth to it. Absolutely. She called the police after she was, I guess, shot. Because I didn't hear the police called at any other time during the argument other than when it is that I tried to fire at the dog.
You misunderstand this question.
What is it?
Did you argue with her about calling law enforcement?
No. There was no argument. There wasn't even a discussion about law enforcement at all during the initial argument and subsequent to the argument. Once it is that I had shot already, then at that point, she decided to call the police.
Okay.
How many times did you shoot?
Twice.
We were standing when you shot?
Yeah, it's been
How tall are you?
about 6 foot.
Okay.
The other problem we have too is the dog is not hit once. She is shot twice. You said you fired 2 shots. You hit her with both shots. So
I couldn't see behind the door.
right.
That was not my intention to shoot her. But I'm assuming that because she was behind the door, ultimately the dog happened to be in the proximity or was in the area of where it is that I intended to shoot, if that makes sense.
When a detective points out that the dog was not hit once, but the woman was shot twice, he's directing Justin's and the audience's attention to outcome, not excuses. This is classic attribution theory. He's steering the interpretation away from the dog caused this to Justin's choices caused this. By focusing on who actually suffered harm, the detective nudges any neutral observer, even Justin himself, toward attributing responsibility to Justin rather than to the animal or the circumstances.
Like I said, I know about pit bulls. I got one and he's attacked dogs and tried to kill people. They will kill if they think if their owners being attacked. Because Zeus will kill you. He thought I was sitting in the kitchen one day and I screamed, just being stupid, and the dog came in there fully in position to attack, and it wasn't nobody in but me.
Right. I get it. They tend to be an aggressive breed.
So I know they're very protective of their owner. I am now the owner. I've been the owner for the last year. So I'm hoping y'all don't charge him tonight or whatever and finish your investigation.
We might not have a choice. You might be charged tonight. So,
What am I being charged with?
At this point, aggravated battery with a deadly weapon comes to mind. Possibly attempted murder based on what she tells us. So, I know what you're telling me. Trying to shoot the dog. Fact of the matter is she shot. The dog isn't. There's an argument beforehand. A lot of emotion, a lot of anger going on inside the house. I mean, I'm not saying that the charge won't change later, but that's what I'm thinking right now.
Is it possible that you can finish your investigation before you charge him? He ain't going nowhere. I live here.
Right. He's going to stay right there until we're finished with the search warrant, until we're done talking to her. So he's going to be held until that, and then we will determine what charge exactly.
When a detective tells Justin, there are consequences for what you did, and starts talking about possible charges like aggravated battery and attempted murder, he's shifting Justin from present justification to future risk. This draws on prospect theory. People become more sensitive to potential losses when those losses are concrete. By naming the charges out loud, the detective forces Justin to see his story not as an emotional rant about a dog, but as something that will be weighed by prosecutors, juries, and judges.
Okay. Again, we haven't searched the house yet. We have not done a detailed interview with her yet. Okay. I'm sure there'll be holes in her story too. Okay. And again, the stuff I'm talking about, the forensics evidence and all that stuff, we still have to do that. Okay. Like I said, that could change, but you're not going anywhere until something does change. Okay.
What holes in the story of mine?
I tried to explain that to you already.
But you
leave it alone, okay?
I'm going to be the one who has to sit in here asking myself these questions. What holes in my story, other than the fact that I was trying to defend myself against this young lady?
Okay, listen. I'm not sure exactly what he has to do. He's in his home. He's in a place where he has a right to be. So
this is exactly my point. I should be able to defend myself.
excuse me, I'm asking you is just not to put the charge on him until you're there. It's just a whole ramification of doing that is all I'm asking.
And yes, I completely understand your concern. But if a felony offense has occurred...
Wait, can I just make sure I understand this?
Justin, will you please just be quiet?
I just want to make sure I understand.
Okay, wait, please.
Don't interrupt me.
Okay, please, just be quiet. Just leave me.
If there's evidence to believe a felony offense occurs and I have probable cause for that felony, I have to make the arrest. You know that. I mean, I'm bound. I can't let someone with a felony go if there's probable cause for their arrest.
Judge Hobbs keeps stepping in, cutting Justin off, asking them not to charge him yet, hinting at consequences of booking her child. The detective doesn't fight her head on. He calmly restates that he's bound by probable cause and higher review. This uses reactance theory in reverse. The more she tries to control the process, the more the system asserts independence. Her pushy behavior actually strengthens the detective's resolve and makes his eventual decision feel more legitimate and resistant to outside influence.
We will...
What is the probable cause, officer?
Justin.
I can't say nothing.
Just leave it. You're not going to change
I mean, you done got my story, but I can't even ask you what the probable cause is.
I will say this. It'll go through my supervisors before any charge is written and any booking is done. It goes through my supervisors. It goes through probably our legal advisor at this point. And it will go through the state attorney's office as well. So I do have checks as well. If there's any reason they find that shouldn't be the case or he gets arrested tonight, okay. That's the only reason, though.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
If someone with more authority than me to charge says don't charge him, that's what I'll do. But at this point, I think we have to hold him.
No, just listen. Okay.
But I gotta sit here and just hold on to what it is that I wanted to ask.
Okay, you're being recorded. Let's get.
Do you want to consult with her first before you ask?
Not at this point. I just want to know what it is that the probable cause is to charge me for what you're intending to charge me with. What is the probable cause?
He's already told you.
He hasn't told me
that you're not acting in self-defense and you shot a woman in your house.
How do you know that?
A guest in your house.
Okay. Based on what it is that I've told you, what makes you think that I didn't shoot in self-defense? If I open the door to my own...
Listen, arguing is not going to help the situation, okay?
The detective repeatedly mentions supervisors, legal advisors, the state attorney's office, search warrants, and checks on his decision. This is procedural justice theory in action. By emphasizing that the process is structured, reviewed, and not purely personal, he removes the "you're just picking on me" card from Justin. When a suspect feels the system is at least formally fair, they're more likely to comply and less likely to believe that arguing in the room will magically change the outcome.
If there is any association between him and you, obviously it's a concern.
It's the same as mine.
Right. So obviously that is a huge concern for us as well. And I don't want something ill to befall your son because of a bad night. Okay?
I can't say anything.
No, just give it a break.
I want to, though.
Just enough already. Just settle down, okay? Let him do his job.
I didn't intend to shoot this girl. My intention was to go ahead and deal with the threat. My son is almost 4 now. He'll be 4 in October. He's capable of opening up the door. He was screaming the entire time. I understand what you're saying about there's not a threat, but the dog, if she even went out of the door to try to leave the house, the dog was still a threat to me. What you're saying is basically that the dog was not a threat just because he was behind the door. If she decided to go and take a piss, it's still a threat to me. The dog is the problem, not...
Okay.
Is there anything you want to discuss with him outside of our presence?
No, I need to go. I guess.
Okay.
By the end, Justin is swearing, ranting that they're full of shit, and repeatedly insisting he told the truth. The detectives don't escalate, they let him vent. This taps into emotional depletion/catharsis theory. Allowing a suspect to burn through their anger and outrage can leave them emotionally drained and less capable of mounting coherent resistance. When the dust settles, Justin is left with the same legal reality, but fewer emotional resources to fight it and no improved version of his story. In the interrogation, the detective systematically dismantled Justin Haynes' self-defense narrative by emphasizing inconsistencies. Why he retrieved an AK-47, why he fired through a closed door, and why safer options existed. Legally, the detective secured admissions and laid groundwork. Justin acknowledged knowledge of rifle capabilities, he described the dog behind a locked door, and he conceded he wished the dog removed rather than simply escape danger. These admissions strengthened the prosecution's case on intent, recklessness, and disproving imminent threat. From a legal perspective, the detective's work supports probable cause for attempted murder or aggravated battery and bolsters jury credibility of the state's theory. Public records show that Justin Haynes was initially charged with attempted second-degree murder and animal cruelty in connection with shooting through the door of the home of his girlfriend, resulting in her being struck and the dog being wounded. However, multiple sources also report that the case did not result in a prison sentence for those specific charges in its original form, as the charges were later dropped. Because the appellate brief indicates the charges were dismissed or not prosecuted to verdict, there is no definitive published prison term or sentencing on attempted murder in this matter. The lack of a recorded sentence means that although the interrogation produced strong evidence, the ultimate legal outcome did not yield a standard conviction followed by a publicly documented sentencing term.